Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
Time! Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Full game for the win! Ayler's gone. Come on, touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU, America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Oh, now, here's Jim Coyle.
Hey, you made it halfway. Welcome everybody into another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Wednesday. Glad to have you. Looking forward to another day of where we're trying to get closer to the warmer weather. And we're heading in that direction. Just not here yet, but although it's going to climb by the end of the day into the 50s. But most of us are going to be watching. Well, that's not today. NCAA tournament really gets going tomorrow, but it's underway. We'll talk about that. It's a couple of games last night, a couple of games tonight. A good game last night, the second one in Texas and North Carolina State, and Texas getting the win in that one. Your old friend, Mr. Miller, Archie's bro. Now at Texas, the Team USA loses to Venezuela in the championship of the World Baseball Championship, 3-2. What do you do? I mean, USA doesn't seem to dominate in anything anymore, which I'm not saying that they should dominate. No one should dominate, but yeah, there's that. The SEC is looking at implementing their own rules, which there's some good and some conversation to that, which we'll have. And yeah, Curt Cignetti is going to be the pace car driver for the Indianapolis 500 this year. So my gosh, it's normally a busy time down on the track anyway. But now there's going to be 6,000 IU students around the car. It's just going to be crazy. Yeah, not looking forward to that. I agree with you, Peebo. I am also jealous getting to drive the Indy 500 pace car. However, I would rather do what our friend Bob Kravitz got to do a few years back. We'll ask him about that. You know, the two-seater Indy car, he got to go around Indy being driven by Mario Andretti. Yeah, I would give up driving for that experience because I'm pretty sure he can take that car a little faster than I would have the gumption to, although I would like to push it. But no banking at Indy, baby, 9 degrees. And so, but those Indy cars are meant to hug that corner. And they do just that. But man, that's got to be something. Getting to drive that. I mean, what a year. Think about how Curt Cignetti's life has changed in the last year. Yeah, last year was phenomenal, but this year even more so. And congratulations. It's amazing to see that in this day and age. So we all can be jealous of Curt getting to drive the pace car. I wonder how fast. I remember a couple years ago, when Tyrese Halliburton drove it. I think it was 2 years ago. And I was literally just before going out, standing there right next to him. That will not be the case with this. I assure you, there will be so much media. You will have their media relations people there. It'll be a completely different scenario. Although you had a professional athlete, you wouldn't think there'd be a lot of difference. I assure you, the media will just be crushing, and that's so good. David's not jealous; he's just happy for Kurt. Hey, that's the best way to be. The SEC would like to make their own rules because nobody's doing anything right anymore. And I agree with them. If they would freaking follow them, because first of all, it's the SEC that is causing most of the crap. I'm not going to say all of it, but yeah, how about you control your own conference? And how about you control Alabama? Seriously? Start with Alabama basketball specifically. I mean, are you kidding me? Nate Oates has shown he is moralless, soulless, and will win at all costs. In his short tenure, just in the last, I don't know, it was his 3 years, I think, they've had a player wrapped up in a murder investigation participating. You had just recently a player that played in the NBA and finally had to be told by the courts, no, he can't play after you played him for 5 games. Nothing happened. Even though you had Greg Sankey saying he hoped that they lost that. Now they've got yet another player arrested on felony drug charges. Hey, SEC, I don't have a problem with you making your own rules but man, you might want to start by cleaning out your house. How the hell are you going to make rules when you don't even have your own schools following them? Following the rules that you don't want them to go against. So how will that go? Greg Sankey says, I think we're getting to the point that the Southeastern Conference is going to have to create its own set of rules, enforce them against our members, and hope we can set the example that the other Power 4 conferences would then follow. Now, that did not come from Greg Sankey. That came from, who was that says that? Moorhead. Jared Moorhead. Georgia president. That's the Georgia president. Yeah, you can wish in one hand and do something else in the other. See which one fills up first. But yeah, you haven't set a good example yet. So that's just kind of funny. Then, and we're not done. That's just Alabama basketball. How about, the SEC is not looking to form its own football playoff, nor does it plan to pull out of the NCAA basketball tournaments or any of that stuff. It's about the rules for which players, everyone can use in those events, eligibility rules, transfer rules, tampering rules, third-party payment rules. In case you haven't noticed, over the last 5 years, all of that has been subject to state courts, and it's different everywhere you go. And that is not getting anything done. But you mentioned tampering. Who's the school that was lambasted for openly tampering? Let's see. Ole Miss. What conference are they in? Ding, 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 ding. If you said SEC, you're a winner. You're a winner. Hey, we got more coming up. Lewis Moore's on with us today. take a quick break. Back with plenty more right after this pause for the cause on this Wednesday.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NICOsports.com. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave & Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level it up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Wednesday. We are in the onset of the NCAA tournament. It started last night, actually, with the play-in games. Watch that second one. 68-66, Texas wins over North Carolina State. Sean Miller getting his Longhorns to move on. Howard, they check a box with their first NCAA tournament win ever as they beat UMBC, Maryland, Baltimore, and they will move on as well. And then there are more games coming up today as the NCAA tournament continues. 2 more play-in games, that is. What is today? Today is Wednesday, so we're looking at, is it date? Yeah, let's see. Got to get the wrong one. Prairie View A&M against Lehigh. A couple of riveting 16 seeds. But yet we need more teams in the tournament. Need more. Need more of that. Don't get enough of that. We don't get enough of Howard UMBC. I'm not trying to be anti-small school or anything like that, but I'm sorry. Who's really, other than the fans of those teams, who's interested in watching that? And this is not a give everybody a ribbon deal. It's a business. It's not UNICEF. How about you take the NIT and boom, you don't need more teams in the NCAA tournament. And if you want to make it truly exciting, boy, I could cut her back a couple. See if you want to move some teams over to a different tournament, then do that. But Don't let everybody in. Then who the hell is going to play in the NIT, in the Crown? Why would you? And that's another thing. Back at the end of football, I want to hit this. When Notre Dame deservingly did not make it in over Miami, because they lost to Miami, but did not make it in, and they whined and cried, and now they've got a sweetheart deal. They set their own schedule. All they got to do is win 10 games, and they're in automatically. Nobody else has that. Notre Dame does now. But anyway, when they didn't get in and refused to play in one of the upper-level bowls, I said, what a bunch of crybabies. And now everybody, and then there's people that have wanted to comment or say, well, Indiana's not playing. What's the difference? Why aren't you crawling? First of all, if I have to explain to you the difference between the apples and oranges of basketball and football, that's a whole conversation in and of itself. Two completely different sports that you cannot compare in as far as tournament. In the NCAA, in the basketball tournament, most people get in. It's not that big of a deal. That's the biggest issue is that Indiana didn't deserve to be in, number one. Number two, they're not crying about not getting in. So what is there? Just because you didn't like my opinion of Notre Dame. So there's that. Yeah, I might see Mike Shenanigan talking about the dude for Alabama had 2.1 pounds of pot in his car. Obviously, he's probably selling that. He's not using it for his own use, that amount at once. So that's why the big deal was. But Robert asking, will they replace the Purdue band with the IU band due to Signetti driving the pace car? Why? One's a tradition. One's not. Purdue playing in the Indianapolis 500 is old as time. So no is the answer to that very quickly. Justin said SEC talking about the rules is hilarious for lack of a more fitting term. Well, it is when they have acted, when all the things that I've just called out have been called out. And so there's that. Yeah, I agree. I think that you've got to clean your own house first. You've got to clean up your own house. Fulton, how about Fulton? Says hello to everybody. Him and his girlfriend, Caitlin. That's not good news, buddy. Oh, boy. Fulton's sharing his love life over the airwaves. Fulton's our great Special Olympian. He's a thespian. He's an actor. He does it all, man. He is our man of everything. Uncle Phil Cal says basketball games don't risk major injury. Every game football does. Indiana should be playing. Okay, why? Why should Indiana be playing, first of all? Take the fact that you want them to play out of this equation. Take the fact that you're a fan of them and want them to be good enough to be playing out of the equation. And take the fact that, was it 6 or 7 of the guys were seniors? They're done. They're done. You don't even have a team. You don't have a team. And I know everyone's going to say that, you can get Trent some minutes and had it worked, or Aristic, and had it worked out, yeah, but it did not. You don't have a team in essence. So, but other than that, why? Why would you take time to play in I don't know. I understand not doing it. I get not doing it. They have issues. That program has had issues for years and years and years. This is not on the current staff, but there are issues. You all want them to fix the issues, and you want them to fix it now. Playing in some meaningless NIT or Crown tournament does nothing to getting you in that direction. Focusing on putting together the best team possible for next season is what they should be doing, and they are doing. So, hey, we got to take a quick break. Lewis Moore is going to join us next. Back with plenty more right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NIKCOSPORTS.com. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Glad to be here, as always. Glad to be with you, and especially glad to be with Lewis Moore, one of the high productive players off of the Indiana undefeated national championship football team, and is now headed to the next step in his career and life, headed to the NFL after spending time at the Combine after the long season. And we're just grateful to have you, Loris. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us. I know you've got a ton going on.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me on.
It's always our pleasure. You know what? I'm going to ask you to clean your lens there. I meant to do that before we started, but I forgot to. No worries about it. But
I think it's just a screen crack, honestly.
I got you. Yeah. One of them, I hear you. No worries. So first of all, after this long season, 16 games, nobody has ever played 16 games. So what was it like after this long season, 16 games, those last 4 games against Ohio State,
Oregon again, and then taking on the teams that you play, Alabama before that, in between, and then of course Miami. Playing those 4 teams in a row, that had to be fun, but also pretty taxing on you.
I'll say I feel like since we got that long 3-week break after the Ohio State game, I feel like we was prepared from every standpoint, physically, mentally, game plan wise. We was ready for the last 3. I say part of that Ohio State game, we was ready to because we just had came off a bye week after the before the Purdue game, so we was definitely beat up before that game. By the way, we played against like Penn State, but we was ready for them games, and I feel like them the games that we needed because we didn't get our credit all season for the performances we was putting on all season. So going to Ohio State, they had us losing that game, but that's what we wanted all year. Maybe that would have been the team that we beat. We'd finally get our credit, but even after that, they still had us losing to Alabama. They had us losing to Oregon after we had already beat them, which didn't make sense to me. And then we go and beat Miami. So I just say it was something special to be a part of for real. And then you playing teams that are like highly talented team because they was talking about like Alabama. Everybody know Alabama history. They were saying the U is back, and then Oregon always been Oregon. Oregon is a good school, but the fact that Indiana did it, that's what made it more special.
Yeah, they didn't count on Indiana being there, of course. And what was it like? I mean, you kind of dealt with it last year with Indiana going 11-1 during the season, and just losing to the 2 teams that played in the national championship. But that wasn't enough for people. It started kind of again this year. They were like, okay, yeah, but it's still, you could tell they were just waiting for Indiana to lose, not. Mm-hmm. To see because they wanted it, just because they thought it was going to happen. They still just didn't think Indiana could get through that. What kind of motivation was that week by week for you guys? Because I know you guys hear it.
I was a lot of motivation because it seemed like I ain't gonna say the whole world was against us, but with the history of Indiana losing, they just didn't want it. I feel like they didn't want it to be true. And then Coach Nettie is real confident in what he does. Like, people think he cocky. I don't think he cocky. I just think he's confident. He put out the game plan for us. The DC's put the game plan for us, and then we just go and execute it. So I say every week is just really proving people wrong. And then even when we'll go beat a team, they'll still move the goalposts. They still didn't want to give us our credit. So it's just extra motivation week after week. And I don't know. I love proving people wrong, just like my teammates. I feel like everybody know a bunch about stories for real. So it was just nothing to it. We just going to do it, and then we all got to like eat, like be productive, get our names known, and win national championship together. So then even after that, it's like, what can y'all say?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what they say, Lewis, and Lewis Moore is with us, by the way, from the Indiana football team, now heading on to the NFL. But if you can do it, it ain't bragging. So that's you said Coach Siggs is confident, and I agree with you. If you can do it, it ain't bragging. And he wasn't saying it in a bragging fashion. He was like, hey, this is what's coming. And he wasn't lying. And you're right about the stories of all the different players. It's incredible. It's not a ragtag bunch because there's too much talent to call it that. But it is a group of guys who seemed to be cast off from a lot of different bigger programs. And then a lot of guys who weren't from bigger programs, and then combined, it was amazing to watch. I've got to tell you, even though I was there and saw it the whole time and thought that this team was going to be good this year, especially last year, I thought they were going to be pretty good. Once the UCLA game rolled around, it looked that way. But still, you guys were fighting this disbelief the whole time. And I can only imagine the group of guys that you had of what that did to you all mentally, just giving you more fire to do the things that you did. And not only to do what you did, but to do what nobody else has ever done. I mean, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but that had to be incredible. But just finishing the regular season undefeated, then beating Ohio State for the championship, that alone had to be just so incredible without even thinking about the upcoming CFP.
Oh yeah, it was. Because like you said, even during the season, you talking about when you was like how we did at UCLA. I wanted to start with that game because they they had fired their coach and they got a new staff. So going into the game we played them, they had won 3 in a row. So I think they was 3-4 at the time. So then they was treating them as like a 3-0 team, but at that time we was 7-0 and probably 8-0. But at the same time, they hadn't played a team like us. And then, like I said, we was performing well all season. Like besides the first couple games, we was just getting our chemistry together, building stuff. Probably just say the Old Dominion game. After they felt like we were rolling, but they came in thinking UCLA is coming to Bloomington and beating us. Like, what make y'all think they gonna beat us? I think we had already beat Oregon. We had already beat Oregon. Well, top playoff team. We had already beat Illinois, little top team in the conference. I'm like, what make y'all think they're gonna beat us? But we went out there and handled our business against them, and it was just on to the next. But as far as like going into the mentality of the Ohio State game, I feel like that was the one that was gonna like solidify us. Like I feel like we was already solidified, but just want people to give us our credit because like we worked our way up to being the number 2 seed in the country. But even by that time, I felt like we should have been number 1. But to be number 1, you got to beat the defending champion. So I understood that. But it was a great game against them. We matched up well against them. They matched up well against us, and we just came out on top. But after that, I wouldn't even say it was like a relief. I felt like it was more of a we did what we knew we could do. Like we knew we could hang with these 5 stars, this highly talented program, the Ohio State. Like that's what all they call it, like the whole season. And then even stuff on film, I feel like we was gonna win based off the film. Like the film, not gonna lie. Like throughout the season, by that time we had 12 games to go off based off film. So by that time, you know if you can hang with an opponent or not. You know like what they do. So the film was there. The film was there to study. The game plan was executed, and we won the game.
Lewis Moore, outstanding defensive back for Indiana football last year, heading to the NFL. Winning that game, the Ohio State game, and completing this Big Ten season, undefeated, Big Ten champion, beating last year's reigning national champion, that had to feel like, all right, all of you all now, what do you got to say? I mean, that had to finally, once you guys did that, that had to be like, okay, boom. We don't have to prove anything else to you guys.
Yeah, that's definitely how I felt. That's what I thought it should have been. But even coming after the Ohio State game, like once the playoffs, they did the final playoff rankings. Seeing the teams that got in, they had us 3rd best odds to win the national championship. If we just beat the defending champion, they had Georgia and Ohio State in front of us, and we just had beat Ohio State. So that didn't make sense to me on a neutral site. So it was like no favoritism towards that. But I'm like, how they ranked. How to beat us? How is Georgia ranked? How is we the number 1 team in the country? We don't beat top teams, so it's okay because it didn't change nothing. They just gave us that extra motivation. And then I can say Coach Sear kept us level-headed the whole season. Like he came into the meetings after the games the following days. It was like that's over. Y'all ain't did nothing. And then it was like just bring us back down. And then like bring us back down to like the job not finished yet. And that's what he preached like the whole season. The job wasn't finished. We weren't satisfied until we get the national championship. Like even being Indiana, like the 24 season, they went 11-1. That's probably the best season Indiana had in history. Like they made the playoffs, but like now, I feel like even coming to this season, the playoffs was the standard for Indiana now. Just in 2 seasons, the standard of the playoffs now. So for us to go win the national championship after them going to the playoffs the previous year, the standard done changed. Indiana expected to do that every year now. Like, if people didn't believe in Coach Neddenriep and what he done built there now, then they just hating at this point. Like, he did it in 2 years. Like, if you don't want to believe it, then it's just on you. Indiana won a national championship, and like even going forward, it's like people because when Indiana was losing, people was expecting him to lose. Now people want to see him lose. That's the thing about like people just be hating. Like they want to see Coach Neddenriep, want to see Indiana lose, and it's just like it wasn't gonna happen last year, and hopefully it don't happen next year.
And for you to say that now the bar is the playoffs for Indiana is funny. I mean, there are people that have been around longer than I have, but I've been around long enough to have a deep understanding. I went to school there. So, I understand exactly what you're saying. And for the bar now to be the playoffs, wild. But it is the truth. And how good does it feel to what Indiana was, but you know what they are now, as you just said. How good does it feel knowing that you were a part of what it took to change that? And that is a massive change like we have never seen in college sports.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling because I always saw the potential in Indiana. Start because I work out with the guys. I know the coaches from both staffs. The potential always been there. Like even my first couple years there, we was losing games, but we wasn't just getting like we got blew out a couple of times, but they was close games. They was games that we could have won. It just took that next step, something that we was missing to win those games. So I feel like we was always in the games. But then even like the community and the environment in Indiana, like I feel like Bloomington and Indiana in general, special place. Like the fans devoted to sports there. They always supported. Uh, Even this year, like we got back from the game. You got fans out there crying. They showing up all across the country. They came to California. They came to the Rose Bowl. They came to Atlanta, packed the stadium out. They showed up for the championship game in another team's home stadium. It's just something to be special and a part of. Like I say, the fan base deserved it. The school deserved it. And time just done changed. So I say it's very special to go from the losing to the national championship in that span.
Well, and players like you deserve it because you're one of the few. You were around for 2 years of the previous era, so you've got a direct taste of it. Not that it was bad, like you said, but you know how the fans viewed you. You know that the people weren't showing up and they were leaving and all of that. So you got a full dose of that. And then you saw the complete opposite, which is wild to see that stadium packed like it was at the Illinois game when it was just off the chain. How wild was that to see that go from 0 to 100 in your time?
It was crazy for real, but yeah, because I was part of the games where people was leaving. Understandably, we losing games. It's understandable, but to see that teams they stay in the whole game. Or it was some game no, they would leave it there, but we were blowing people out. So I mean, it's understandable you watch it, but I don't know. It's just an amazing feeling, especially like the Illinois game, because that was our first game we played a ranked team. We was 19 at the time. They was number 9. Like I said, and Coach Ignetti from the Monday meeting, he said that was gonna happen. If you watch the film, we knew that was gonna happen too. Like we knew it was gonna get. We knew it was gonna. I knew it was gonna beat them. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad, but they didn't have nothing for us. But even the whole environment, and I feel like from that game, we should start getting our credit for what we was putting on tape and performing.
I agree with you. So now we talked about going through the season, winning the Big Ten championship. Then comes the first game of the CFP at the Rose Bowl. I mean, the granddaddy of them all. And it's Alabama, the face of the SEC. Man, you guys had to be salivating going into that game because it sure looked like it because you tore them up like a T-bone steak.
Yeah, I say we was because they had just beat Oklahoma. So they were probably coming off that game. Even watching, I would say starting the SEC championship, I feel like they went out and just laid down because they knew that they wasn't gonna get no punishment for losing because they lost 3 games. But the college football already said they weren't gonna punish no team for losing because they had already beat Georgia too in the season. But honestly, I say there was nothing on film. The game went how it's supposed to go, honestly, because there was nothing on film that from their season that showed that they was gonna come in there and beat us. Honestly, like the film doesn't lie. And there was nothing on the game went how it was supposed to go, in my honest opinion. What we seen on film is what they tried to do. So we was ready for it. Like I said, we executed game plans. But even with that, like I felt like we knew Bama wasn't the Bama that they've been previously. So I don't know, just a whole bunch of hype. I feel like they didn't take us seriously because the brand. I feel like a lot of that game went into the branding, like the names, Indiana, Alabama. I feel like that's what went into a bunch of that. But we went out there and handled our business, and we showed that the brands don't matter.
And even though many of their coaches had been at Indiana before, their head coach, Kalen DeBoer, was the offensive coordinator just before your time, I think. You missed him, as well as their defensive coordinator, Kane Womack, was Indiana's former defensive coordinator. But I don't think that they share that feeling anymore. Any Alabama fan, I think that they got a wake-up call from Indiana. Then you guys take on an Oregon team you had played before, didn't get enough credit after beating them at Oregon. And boy, when you were right on the field, when
you saw our boy D'Angelo Pons first play of the game in a stadium that was packed with 98% Indiana fans. When he picked that ball off on the first play, it was like someone lit a fuse to a bomb, a sound bomb that went off.
Yeah, it was
What was it
crazy.
like from your standpoint?
It was crazy. I was running to the end zone, but I heard how loud it got, and I feel like that set the tone. The song was set before the game even started. Just seeing the fans, like it was Oregon had one section. Out of that whole state, they had one section, and the rest of it was just straight Indiana fans. So I feel like that set the tone with the momentum. That's intimidating. That's like a home game. You going to somebody's home. That's like going to another team's home stadium. And then I feel like even before that, the tone was set on kickoff because Byron Reddenner had a hard hit on kickoff, and then that set the tone. Defense really come out. The first play, D-Lo just went peak 60. Then at that moment, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a long night for them.
And it was. It was over quick and amazing. As you know, Dan Lanning has, he's a great record, but 20% of his losses now are to Indiana. and that both came last season. So there you go. There's a big number for you, Lewis. Lewis Moore, the great defensive back for Indiana, with us now as he is ready to head off to the NFL. Then you get to play Miami for the championship, man. That had to be wild. Again, Indiana fans, like you mentioned already, they outshow Miami fans in Miami's home stadium. I've never heard of such a thing happening. And it was wild to see, but they were there for good reason. Great game, and Miami gave you great game, but Indiana was not going to be denied, man.
No, sir, we wasn't. That's another game. Miami was the last team that got into the playoffs. I'm not gonna say they didn't deserve to get there. It was just the last team that got in. Obviously, they deserved to beat us to the national championship, but they had them beating us again, and we was the number one team. We done beat Oregon, blew out Oregon. We beat Alabama, blew out the first two teams, beat the defending champions. So I'm like, okay, maybe it don't matter what they choose, but that's another game they had us losing. And then even with that game, it was a very competitive game. So it was good. It was good that it wasn't a blowout in the national championship. Don't nobody want no boring game. And I don't know. They didn't go away. Like going up 10-0 the first half, they start fighting back. But it's just fun to be a part of. It was fun that the defense, because we had been playing well all season. It was good that we got to go like finish the season off right. Basically, Sharp got his first pick of the season in his hometown. So I feel like it was special for him and just special for everybody.
Yeah, and that was a great way to end it. Incredible. But with the great, well-spoken Lewis Moore, it's amazing how you remember every little detail of all these things, all these games. But they're lifelong memories. I know that you'll have. You win a national championship. The moment that clock went zero and you guys were national champions, what was that feeling?
Oh, it was the best feeling I felt in my life, honestly, because it was like, dang, we really did it. Like we knew it was gonna happen eventually. That's the goal. That was the goal. But when we finally did it, it was like just eye opening. Just really just taking in the moment. Like it was a lot of emotions behind it. Team bases crying, everybody jumping around, celebrating, and it was just like it didn't feel like it was over. Cause like I said, it was like we was rich with some season. We never got our credit for real, but it was like it was finally over. But it was like, dang, it's really over. And it was just special. It's the best feeling I had. Like the only way to really truly describe it is you got to feel it. You got to be a part of it to feel it. But
I
it's just
can
like all the
imagine that.
yeah, like all the different stuff that played into it. The not getting the respect, all the guys' different stories. It being Indiana that's winning the national championship. It's just a whole bunch of different stuff that played into it.
And you've mentioned the team not getting the respect, and obviously you paid great attention to that. How much did the team pay attention to that? Was that a motivating factor for the team? I know that certain guys see and like I can tell you are great with details. But was the whole team just motivated by that, sick and tired of not being picked to win teams that either they've already beaten or for whatever reason?
Yeah, I think I'll say it was, but it was more of an unspoken thing. It wasn't like we weren't always going to be talking to each other. Everybody knew, like talking about. It wasn't never personal or individualistic with us. Everything was team oriented. So like everything people went through in their careers and stuff, that was never spoken for real. But as far as like team accolades and stuff, like being put number one in the country or being chosen to winning games, yeah, like that stuff was like why y'all still doubting us? But we just went out there and kept doing the same thing over and over again. So I probably say it probably motivated us. It was just a whole bunch of unspoken things. I feel like that's what it was with our program too. It was like even showing up to like meetings and stuff. It was like we know we got to come in and get this work. Go watch your film. We in the weight room at a certain time. We get the work in. All the details was checked off. We didn't miss no boxes as far as anything. I feel like because everybody, I mean, people like that's not around the facility. They just see what we do on Saturdays. But the stuff that we did on Saturdays was a reflection how we approach the week, as far as means, like I said, weight room, recovery, treatment. We checked off every box, so that's why I was able to perform well.
I mean, I've been around you several times and gotten to talk to you, whether just post-game interviews or whatever, but this is the first extended conversation. And being around, talking to you now, I can tell, like I've said many times, boy, I can tell the details or some things that you keep up with, which is very, very important for the next step in your career, the NFL. I I know people because I don't even know, but I know what I don't know a lot. It's the things that you don't know. And I know that I don't think there's a bigger step from college to the NFL is bigger than anything. I think it's bigger than the NBA. It's bigger than Major League Baseball. It's bigger than any other sport moving up to the NFL. And there's so much to learn when you go up there as a player, even if you've played at such a high level as yourself. What all do you do to prepare for that? What are you doing? Obviously, you're working out right now, but is there things that you have to do to try to prepare for the mental side of the NFL?
Yes, sir. Because I mean, it's gonna be it's stuff that you can do, but I haven't been there physically, like been in the facility, so I can't say that I know what to expect. I can get like information because I got teammates I play with in college, my homeboys that's in the league. They tell me how stuff is, but I feel like you got to experience it for yourself to really understand what's really going on there, how stuff ran. Because people can tell you stuff all the time, but once you get there, I feel like it's more of a you got to figure. I ain't gonna say it's figure it out for yourself, but learn to adjust the way it make you comfortable and assess with stuff. Because even going to the league, I feel like it's like starting over again. You starting from the bottom. Like I done built up. Like even for a college career, you start from the bottom, you build your way up to the as high as you can get to put yourself in a position to either go to the league or just be done. So I feel like that's what it's gonna be going to the league. You got to like adjust to the facility, adjust to the environment. However, the coach, like whichever team I get drafted to, I'm pretty sure everybody run their facilities different. The culture is different. So I say you got to get adjusted to that and then fall in line and then build your way up.
Who are some of the guys that you've spoken to that play in the NFL?
I got two homeboys, True Edwards and Cam Lampkin. They both play for the Rams. So them two guys are
that's my team when I was a kid, man. LA Rams.
Yeah. And then it's like even my trainer here used to coach for the Bengals. So he gave me insight on stuff too.
So you're down in Tampa training, working out, getting ready for the draft, right?
Yes, sir.
What all does that entail, the workouts that you do now? Besides obviously the lifting and cardio and that typical stuff, what else is going into the actual training?
I'll say as far as like run mechanics, just learning how to run right because it's really just training for the pro day is why I'm here, like to get the best numbers that I can get, but like tweaking run mechanics, being able to run fast, just being able to put the best numbers that you can put out on pro day. And then also like around this time, I'll be talking with teams. So like from non-physical standpoint, they're just trying to like get to know you, talk football, see if you got IQ and knowledge for the game, stuff like that. So that's something
interviews,
that
goes but conversations that are interviews, but conversation like I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, you just talk. Yeah, it's just talk. It's just being yourself.
Now I know that one of the teams, many possibilities, but the Raiders
one of them, but I'm sure there's a lot of us. And I know that I'm not going to ask you if there's a favorite because I know that you'd say one and get drafted by somebody else. It doesn't work well when you do that. So I know you don't care where you get drafted. You just want to be drafted.
Yes, sir.
And I think that you will be. I'm looking forward to that happening and you getting to celebrate that with your family. But I know you put in a lot of hard work. All of you guys have. Have you worked out with any of the other IU players? Have you seen them?
Nah, I'm the only one. I'm the only one player that's at this facility. But some of them around here too, though. So they're not too far. But at the combine, I seen them. I talked to them. Me and D'Lo was roommates at the combine, so I talked to him there. But nah, I just be real focused. Like right now, I just training, just get real focused to put myself in the best position.
And you mentioned the pro day. I believe you're talking about the IU pro day, April 1st.
Yes, sir.
In Bloomington.
Mm-hmm.
What all will they put you guys through? I mean, I've been to the pro day before, but other than like the 40 and just general stuff, or you're not doing drills, are you?
Yeah, I'm doing everything. It start off with the bench press, a max, how many reps you can hit a 225. You got the vert jump, the highest you can do off of that, and then it transitions to the field where you do the 40, you do the pro agility, you do the L or the 3-cone drill, you do the broad jump, and then you do position drills.
Yeah, a lot. So looking forward to it. And that's the day that Fernando was going to throw. He chose to bypass the combine and throw for his guys at IU. And it's you guys are a tight bunch. It seems like, and there's a lot of you that are going to be playing on Sundays.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That's the goal to play on Sundays. Going through college and stuff, we put our stuff too. But we built it together. Like we spent that year together. We all worked together. We seen everybody get better. We built the chemistry, built the bond, and we all want what's best for each other. And for each other to be the best, you got to be at your best. So I feel like that's what played a big role in my career too. Like coming back to Indiana, like the winning helped my career a lot. Honestly. Like I needed this last season to be in the position that I am. So like I said, I'm grateful for everything that came with Indiana's last year.
Probably wouldn't have been in the position they're in if it hadn't have been for you and your contributions and everybody else. But you were a major part, man. Like I said, I remember I loved it. You had one less interception than Ohio State did going into the end of the year. And I kept reminding people that. I'm like going, what are you talking about? Ohio State's defense, when they kept saying that it was number one, I'm like, I disagree. I think Indiana's defense is number one. And that was one of the things I would point out. I'm like, they've got 6 interceptions. Lewis Moore's got 5 by himself. So, buddy, congratulations, Lewis. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I look forward to seeing you. I'll see you on April 1st when you come up. But good luck with your training and everything else. And, man, I really appreciate you. And I look forward to talking to you when you are an NFLer.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for having me on, too. Appreciate all the support.
You're the best. Lewis Moore joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. More coming up right after these messages. Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NICOsports.com. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level all up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Jim Coyle on this Wednesday of the first week of the NCAA tournament. Man, what a great conversation with Lewis Moore. That is one of my absolute favorite conversations with a former player, because after you could just tell throughout that entire conversation, or I could, that he just guided you through everything. It told me that, which I already knew this, but it just continues to confirm, everyone's looking for the secret sauce at Indiana and what Curt Cignetti is doing. Well, you know what? It's not really that big of a secret. It is getting the right players. It sounds easy, but it's not. Getting the right players that fit your system, but that are more than just that. They have to also be good people. They have to be good teammates. It's hard to find all of those things, but that's why this was a success. They did find those things. They found a group of guys that just busted their asses, that were still playing for the love of the game. I don't care that they were getting paid. You're telling me that all of those guys that came over from James Madison and all those guys that came from other places, man, they were playing to win. I've said this over and over. Winning still matters. People still want to win. And everything about that conversation just solidified everything we hear of, if you watch 5 different interviews with Curt Cignetti, you're going to hear a lot of the same things. But it's not that it's rehearsed. It's not that it is just memorized. It's a life, I don't want to say life lesson, but it's a life guidebook. It's what he does every day. It's how he approaches the game. It's how he approaches his team. It's how he approaches games. It's how he approaches the staff. It's how he approaches the players. It's how he approaches winning, most importantly. And there's just no deviating from that. Speaking of deviating, boy, we'll deviate to our good friend. I am the king of segues. I'm just kidding. I love to flatter myself. But Kyle Neddenriep from the Indy Star has, man, we've got the NCAA tournament getting underway now, Kyle, but also we are deep. This, I hate. This is the worst. This is the change I don't like most about the way that they've changed the tournament. This should be, or last weekend should have been different setup. So this weekend was
sending teams to the Final Four. I think there should be a Final Four. If I played, I want a damn Final Four. If I make it to the Final Four, But I also understand now with 4 different classes that's 16 teams and this, that, and the other thing. So there's a lot that goes into it. But I still miss the Final Four. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a little different. I think most people that I've talked to, it's kind of split. I think the one thing with this change in the last, what's it been, 3 or 4 years now, is that, I do think, you're playing a game, you're playing a game on Saturday morning or afternoon, 10 or noon, and then you're gearing up to play your biggest game of the season with a chance to go to the state finals on, limited rest and limited scouting, so you're kind of just diving into it. Now, that going into the week, and you scout for all 3 teams you could face, or one that you will face and the other 2 you might face. So I've talked to some coaches this week about that, and, they do spend some time on those other teams, obviously, and prepare for them and, watch film on those 2 other teams. But, it is basically we've just flip-flop weeks. That's kind of the thing. And the more teams get regional championships now, whether that's good or bad or indifferent, I don't know, but more of them do. So you have more teams playing later in the tournament, which is, I think, the reason they did this, to kind of keep more teams in longer, and then kind of do a reset after the regional, and they redraw it and everything for the semi-state, and get into kind of do reset the tournament, basically. So it's a 4-team field. It's kind of like the old regional was, and now you've got that's kind of what the semi-state is now. I'll say the biggest, and this has nothing to do with basketball really, but I did love the semi-state. The time difference would change. We had the daylight savings would change, and a lot of times, I'd walk out of the gym after that. You'd have games at 1 and 4, and you'd walk out of the gym at Seymour, and I just have vivid memories of walking out and it's still light out, and you feel like the whole day's not away from you, and the weather's nicer, and that's what I like about the semi-state. Now it's I'm leaving Newcastle at 11 p.m. and it doesn't feel quite the same way, but that's a personal thing, I guess. That has nothing to do with anything related to basketball.
No, I remember. I remember as a high school student, being up at Seymour for that first 11 o'clock game, baby, and it didn't matter that it was in the morning for some reason. And boy, it was jack packed, and you had all those local teams, and then you have a break, and usually it was a decent spring day, but everybody's hanging out at the local hotels, and hopefully your team made it to the regional final. Then you come back and you pack that gym again, and man, oh man, is it red hot. And I love the build up, boom, boom. And so I kind of miss that.
Yeah. And that's kind of what the semi-state is supposed to be now. So it's, it's kind of, you still have that. It's just a different round of the tournament, but it does feel, it takes some time to get used to. I've learned in my age now, it's like, I'm so used to what the regional was and what the semi-state was. It takes a while for your mind to calibrate to something different. So that's kind of where, and it's a little harder to do, preview stuff when you've got more teams in, but again, that's kind of just a coverage standpoint deal. But yeah, it's different. We're gonna have some great games though. I think it's still going to be a great weekend.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it does. It always works. Excuse me. My goodness. Last night in the NCAA tournament getting underway, already got good games. That's usually the case. High school, not always so much, but once we get to this level, it is, because the teams that have reached this point are pretty daggum good. And even though there may have been an upset or two, and there have been in 4A, man, 4A is going to be, it's kind of up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, the game I covered at Southport, or one of the 2 games, the Mount Vernon Pike game, I mean, you couldn't have asked for, you talk about environments that are rocking. I mean, Southport Fieldhouse was on fire on Saturday afternoon. I mean, Luke Ertl and going up against Pike, and Ertl delivered, and it was fantastic. And I think, even the second game, Decatur Central, the kind of the underdog team, beating Lawrence Central, and there wasn't quite as many people, but, it's still a very good crowd, and, it's just fantastic. But now, Pike's out, Carmel's out, Fishers is out. Lawrence North was bounced in the sectional championship. You had, by the nature of it, you're going to lose good teams because, it's the sectional round is you're going to knock out, only Plainfield or Pike could make it, one or the other or neither. But so Plainfield knocked out there. So you had so many teams knocked out by the time you get to the regional anyway. And then we had even more upsets. I don't think many people expected Fort Wayne Snyder to beat Carmel, but that happened. And now Snyder's kind of they're the underdog going into the Crown Point game.
And nobody expected Carmel to beat Fishers either.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, so now can Snyder take that to Crown Point, take that into Elkhart on Saturday and upset Crown Point? We'll find out. But yeah, 4A, we're going to end up with a northern team that, probably, I mean, Crown Point was, I will say that would not be unexpected if they made it. That's been a team all year we've talked about. Crown Point this is their time. If they can do it, this is definitely the team that can do it. So I'd say they're the favorite just based on experience and everything. But I tell you, Northridge up in the north too, they are real. I've had a chance to see them play. Brady Scholl going to Indiana Wesleyan's a big, strong guy who can shoot. His numbers are off the charts this year, and I think Northridge and Crown Point in the championship game would be a lot of fun. But Homestead's good. I mean, that's there's no easy games at this point. Even Mount Vernon playing Decatur at Newcastle. Mount Vernon, it's not like they go out and win by 30 when they win. It's normally their games are right down to the wire. So I'd expect Decatur Central to give them a good game. And man, I'm telling you, the second game at Newcastle, the noon game with New Albany and Terre Haute North, I cannot wait to watch that game. That's going to be a great one. New Albany's probably a year ahead of schedule, I would say.
How about New Albany kind of sneaking up out of the South? We didn't really have a power team after Jeffersonville won the state title a year ago, but man, New Albany's kind of filling that void right now. Except for Silver, but then you've got Silver Creek in 3A, I know. But New Albany doing well in 4A.
Silver Creek's a whole different animal. They're definitely the favorite in 3A. They are legit, and they beat New Albany during the season pretty handily. So that kind of speaks to how good Silver Creek is. But this New Albany team, like I said, it's funny because they are 22-5, but they came up here a couple times. Fishers handled them. They lost some game. Plainfield, there was a game that was close, but then they kind of had just gone on a roll here. And Noah Washington, their sophomore, I think people around the state know about him. 22 points a game, 4.2 rebounds. He shoots at 39% from three. So he's having a great year. But then they have other, Carson Stoudemire, 12.8 points and about 6 rebounds, and TJ Washington and Reese McKee also are double-figure scores for them. So they've got some different players too to go with Washington. Like I said, they're still a little bit younger too, so they will be a team to be reckoned with next year. Assuming it's kind of funny, it's like you talk about next year, and I asked some of the coaches about next year after the regional, and they're like, well, we don't know who's going to be back next year. So that's maybe in the communities that are more less transient than Marion County, that may be true, but
that sounds like college now, man.
I tell you, and I'm actually writing about this tomorrow. Because it feels like we're at a weird place in high school basketball a little bit with some of the transfer stuff and coaches leaving, and I don't know what the future holds. I do wonder that atmosphere I was in Saturday, and a lot of us were in Saturday with the Mount Vernon Pike game. I don't know if you don't have the top talent staying here and they're going to prep schools, then we're not going to have those environments as much anymore.
Well, Noah Washington, speaking of the devil, rumor is floated in and out. I don't know, like I said, rumor. But, if he's down in New Albany in southern Indiana, not as far as a prep school, but across the river, you've got Trinity and St. X, who are the larger Catholic schools. And over in Kentucky, the Catholic schools have they hold a much bigger sway in sports than in Indiana, where it's mostly the public schools for the most part. But that's exactly what you're talking. I hate to bring up the recently passed David Bell or Rondell Moore. Rondale Moore, sadly, but he too left New Albany after winning that state title and went over to, I think, Trinity High School, which is where Jeff Brom went to school, which he'd eventually go play for. But yeah, Trent Sisley, we saw him leave Heritage Hills and go to Montverde to develop his game. And in this environment, today's environment, I get it. It's hard to blame them because they've got to set themselves up for that next level now.
Well, and you can, I mean, in a lot of states now, you can make money too. I mean, you can make NIL money going to a prep school, and that's some of
Florida.
Yes, some of that's not spoken out loud when you talk to people about why they're leaving, but that's part of it also.
That needs to go away, though.
Well, it's not going to. So you can either
I love that.
You can either get with the times, or you can watch your best players leave. And I don't know. I'm not saying we should do that here, but but it is going to draw, and it already has drawn talent away from Indiana. So I do, I'm kind of I do worry a little bit. And you're still going to have great. I'm not saying Indiana high school basketball is going to fade into the background or anything, because you're still going to have the small town communities that are going to go crazy this time of year, and I think that will always be the case. But you do lose out if you're losing your top talent. Some of the people who go to games just because their rooting interest is in watching great basketball players. If your top talent's going away, then that's could be a problem. So we'll see. I mean, I don't want to, be an alarmist or anything. Indiana's been able to hold on to most of its talent over the last many years, but it feels like, and I've heard a lot of the same rumors you probably have. I mean, there's just a lot of it is just rumors, and sometimes that's all it is. And then, kids do come back. I mean, I remember hearing rumors about every year about Trey Lyles leaving to go to prep school. He never did. He played all of his high school at Tech. So, sometimes that stuff.
And then committed to Indiana and decommitted.
Well, he committed, I think, as a freshman. And then.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm only teasing.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just sometimes you hear rumors and then it doesn't happen that way. So who knows for sure what'll happen. But, I do wonder what this 2027 class will actually look like next year, and who's back and who's where and who's actually playing in the state.
We'll certainly find out, man, this weekend to give us a dose, and looking forward to next weekend or next week, as we'll know who's playing for the Big Enchilada.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. The teams will get narrowed down very quickly now. We'll be down to 8 by the end of Saturday night.
That's like my attention span. Narrowed down, just narrowed down. Appreciate you, my friend.
All right, Jim. Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir. Kyle Neddenriep, the expert on all things high school sports in the state of Indiana. Make sure you give him a follow. Speaking of expert, here's one that's not me, but the closest thing we can come to it, we've got Bob Kravitz up next. Stick around. We've got more on the other side right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Wednesday. Made it halfway through, and what a better way to send you off on the other side throughout the rest of the week. Our friend Bob Kravitz. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm trying to get my pick. Can you see me?
I cannot see you, but I hear you loud and clear.
Hang on. There we go.
Yeah.
Modern technology just befuddles me.
It is. I get it. It's a beautiful picture, by the way.
Thank you.
You are absolutely lovely. So, what is going on with the great Bob Kravitz?
Well, I'm just gearing up for the NCAA tournament.
That's going on. I heard about that.
Yeah, I know. You follow IU, so you wouldn't be
easy now. I follow everybody.
Yeah,
but I
primarily
IU a lot.
Yeah. So I'm just making out my bracket. I got my bracket in front of me here. I haven't filled it out yet, but I'll
okay. Here's one you can go to today when you get it second. ESPN's fantasy tab in the groups. There's one that just says Indiana Sports Beat fans. Password's Indiana. That's ours. Fill one out. I like to see how I put mine in. I only put one in. I think I might go back and do a second one, but I kind of don't like that. I like to just do one and let's roll with the one, man.
Just say it with your chest, as the kids say.
Exactly, man. I mean, like, there's no do-overs.
Why are people picking Purdue to go to the Final Four? What have I missed?
I guess because they got hot. And I think that they're definitely a potential Sweet 16 team easily, and possibly a what?
I think they have a chance to be an Elite Eight team.
I was going to say, and I think Arizona. I agree with you. I very possibly, because of how they're playing right now, I think they can get to the Elite Eight. But there is a stat that I'm sure a lot of people have seen that since going back to, I think it's 2001. But to win a national championship, you have to be in the Ken Palm's top 31 defensively, top 21 offensively, both of those categories. Purdue does not fit into that bill. Now, there are a couple of teams that do that I don't think have a shot. Louisville's one of those. But I definitely think it is still going to be top heavy. My biggest fight is does Michigan make the Final Four?
I think they've got a chance. I don't think I'd pick them, but
I did too.
Yeah. I just think it's going to be like last year, I think it's going to be a very chalky tournament. I don't think we're going to see a big number of upsets. Last year, I was watching a show last night, didn't realize this, but last year was the fewest number of upsets in the NCAA tournament since 1985. And the reason for that is with NIL, it used to be that the mid-majors had really experienced teams, and that was their superpower over these one-and-done teams or teams with guys who only stay for a year or two. Well, they don't have that superpower anymore because even the high majors have a bunch of seniors who they got out of the portal. So they've got as much experience, generally speaking, as the mid-majors. So I think it's going to be a very chalky tournament.
I agree. And I think that we've seen
over the last couple of seasons in both sports, that the parity is just getting better and better and better. And now that doesn't mean there aren't great teams, because there are. If Duke wasn't hurt, I'd feel a lot better about them, but they're kind of beat up. North Carolina, they're out. They're hurt. Even BYU, I would have taken them further if they weren't so beat up, but they are. I tell you who I just Arizona is just looked freaking good all year long. They're the team that I've got wing it all.
Me too.
I do have Michigan State making the Final Four somehow. I didn't do this with, say, I want this team to go. I just went through it. Then I'm like, oh, well, okay, that's what I have. Wow.
Well, Michigan State, let me look at they got North Dakota State to start. But then, let's see, then they'd have UCLA. No. I'm all screwed up. Anyway, it's a small picture and my eyes are not focused well. But I think Michigan State's got a chance. You had mentioned Purdue being hot. And so I thought, okay, well, when's the last time they won the Big Ten tournament and went into the tournament and to the NCAA tournament really hot?
I'm going to bet they lost as a number 1 seed, didn't they?
Thank you. 2023. I'll never forget it. We were out.
Neither will they.
We were out in Columbus. We were screwing around the night before, as I'm wont to do. Get to the arena the next day. I'm figuring this is going to be a blowout. It'll be an easy column. I'll go back to my hotel early, chill out. Nope. All hell breaks loose. FDU wins. So I don't know what to read with Purdue. I think they're really good, but I think at some point a really athletic backcourt is going to show up. I think their defensive deficiencies will show up at some point.
Bang, right there. And as a matter of fact, what region are they in?
They're in the West.
So I tell you, I've got them losing to Miami.
Oh, I don't.
I've got to lose because I think that Miami is better situated in the post, and I do think that they're athletic. And that's, if you can stymie Braden Smith's ability to distribute the ball, you have stopped Purdue.
Yeah.
They don't have guys that can create their own shots. Fletcher Lawyer, good shooter, but doesn't create his own shots. And so, yeah, I think that Miami, I've got Miami beating them.
Well, I got them obviously beating Queens, which I originally thought was Queens College in New York City.
Everybody thinks it's in Queens, New York. It's in North Carolina.
North Carolina. I know. I didn't know. I think they beat Miami in the second round, and then I think they'll play Gonzaga in the Sweet 16, and Gonzaga's got some injury issues, and they're not the usual great Gonzaga team. I mean, they're good, but they're not great. So I see them going to the Elite Eight, but there's Arizona at 32-2, first seed, and I don't see them getting past that.
Yeah, I actually, this is going to be fun. I just think that it is. In the let's see, that's got to be the East. I have Duke getting beat by our old buddy Rick Pitino and the Johnnies.
It scares me that you and me are on the same wavelength here, because I got Rick Pitino going to the Final Four.
Well, in my second bracket, I'm at a place of, it's Tom Izzo and Rick Pitino.
Oh, man. And we did get John Calipari in there somehow.
Hey, his team is playing pretty. How funny is it that Kentucky fans could not wait? And I get it. Couldn't wait. The time had come. Right. But boy, be careful what you ask for, because Arkansas is pretty damn good. He's got the chicken money down there, and Kentucky is just quacking away.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, this Darius Acuff Jr., he has really risen up the draft charts. To me, he's the best point guard in the draft, and I think he'll go in the top 4 or 5 for sure.
I do have North Carolina getting upset by VCU because of Caleb Love. That's over in the South region.
South region, let me find it.
But I think that they will lose to Illinois in the round after that. But Houston is they're one of those teams that fits into the Ken Palm matrix of top offense, top defense. But I just don't have national champion feeling about them.
I don't either. So what's your final four? Who'd you pick?
I ended up on my other bracket. I haven't finished this one yet, but the one I did finish, I ended up with Michigan State, Arizona, Florida, and Michigan. Although Michigan and Iowa State, I was like, God dang it. But Michigan is, I went with those four: Michigan State, Florida, and Arizona. And I have Arizona beating Michigan State to win it all.
Okay, I got Arizona, obviously. Let me just move. This is a really hard thing to look at. Then I got where are we? By the way, I think St. Louis is going to go on a run. I think St. Louis has got a really good team.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Larry Nerd.
Larry Nerd and Kareem Abdul. I mean, that is amazing. Yeah,
I like Iowa State a lot out of the Midwest.
Iowa State is one of those good, sneaky Big 12. Anybody in the Big 12, I just like. That's a fist fight league, man.
Then I like Houston in the South, and I like St. John's 5th seed. I think they're underseeded. I think they got screwed over by the fact the Big East isn't very good this year. So that would be my final four. And I got Arizona winning the whole thing.
Yeah. Florida
on this
Houston.
particular iteration of my bracket, I may do 10 like you.
I'm not doing 10. I'm doing 2.
All right.
Florida and Houston. And that's a matchup I have. I hate being chalk, but it's what I've got. And Florida, I like the fact that they lost in their conference championship game.
Yeah, they got run, man.
That kind of seems to reset things a lot of times for teams that are really good. Florida also fits into the Ken Palm possibilities of numbers, so that'll work. And but I think it's going to be fun. But while I've got St. Louis upsetting Georgia.
I do too.
They got to play Michigan next, though. And they're not beating Michigan.
Oh yeah, you got a good point. Well, it'll be a short run. They're really good, man. I give them a puncher's chance against Michigan. I really would.
Texas Tech is a team that I'm like, they're kind of hurt, and I want to go with Akron, but then that kind of gives Alabama a walk, and I'm kind of having a deal with Alabama right now. I think they should be booted from the tournament. Nate Oates is shown to be someone that will win at all costs. I talked earlier about in the last 3 years alone, as you know this, Bob, they've had a player that was wrapped up deep in a murder investigation.
Yes.
They just had a guy that played in the NBA, flaunting every stinking rule with their own commissioner going against them, and now yet another player arrested on felony drug charges. And the SEC is talking about needing to make their own rules since everybody else can't get it going on because the SEC they're doing so well at it.
Well, how about last night we had Will Wade against Sean Miller? That doesn't tell you about the state of college basketball. Kelvin Sampson has a really good chance to go to the Final Four. He was a guy who was booted from the game for 5 years on a show cause. A lot of these guys are out there.
But Bruce Pearl loves him. Don't forget.
In a world with outlaws, he's the chief outlaw, Nate Oates.
He is right now. And there's nothing to stop them at the moment. And I don't have a problem with the SEC saying, hey, they're trying to be a leader. I get it, but you're not even your own you can't even control your own conference.
Right.
So how the hell are you going to be the leader in everything that is being talked about? Tampering. The team that accused of tampering is Pete Golding at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So it's so funny that all this stuff revolves around the SEC. I mean, the chickens have come home to roost now that everyone is getting paid.
Yeah. No, you're right. What was I going to say? I forgot already. But yeah, it's just become a bunch of outlaws. There's no right way to do it anymore. That's one of the reasons I think I enjoy watching Purdue so much, is because they've kind of done it the old-fashioned way. I don't want to say they've done it the right way, because there's no right way in this modern day of college sports.
But how long can that continue?
Well, that's the question.
What happens very next year? What's next year going to be like without this core that they have had for the last 4 years? And Braden Smith here of late has really kind of put them on his back. And that's, I just don't think that's enough. But what are they going to do next year?
Well, Mayer will replace Smith. Clough, do we know if Clough is coming back? He went through the senior day festivities, from what I understand. I may be wrong there, but I guess it's still an open question as to whether he comes back. He replaces Trey Kaufman-Wren. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have some issues. They're going to have to hit the portal, but they've got some good freshmen coming in too. So maybe he goes that route, but I don't know. There's just a lot to like about Purdue.
Yeah, early on, I agree, without question. The Big Ten getting 9 teams in.
Yeah.
The 2 teams that didn't make it in and had a shot, Indiana and USC. I thought that losing that USC game, actually, had Indiana won that game, they're probably in. Well, actually, we could pick out a number of games.
Northwestern.
Any number. Northwestern twice. Or actually 3 times. Didn't they play them 3 times this season?
No, I think they only played them once in the regular season.
Okay. And the Nebraska game, and then of course Minnesota at Minnesota. Any of those games. So, but I'm so tired of fighting that. I am, though, for the folks that think that Indiana should be playing. I'm like, nope.
No way.
And we've had people that are, I guess, Notre Dame fans, because back when in football season, when Notre Dame deservedly did not make it into the CFP over Miami, I said, and then they just took their ball and went home. I said, look at you. You don't get into the big show and you're crying and going home. Well, Indiana didn't play, and they had a bunch of people saying, well, what about that? I'm like, it's apples and oranges, number one. Number two, who the hell wants to watch this team play? Number three, they don't even have a team anymore. It's disbanded for the most part, those guys that have gone, but it's a different scenario. This is, and Indiana's doing the right thing, in my opinion. Get your ass ready for next year. You've got issues that go back years. Focus on what you need to do to be the best that you can be right freaking now.
Yeah. The portal's open. Got to get busy really quick. I mean, I don't know the whole schedule for when the portal opens, but it's time for them to concentrate on what they've got right in front of their faces, no doubt.
And they have to kill the portal this year.
They do.
I mean, you have to kill it. Now, they're not coming back to a completely empty cupboard. You've got 3 guys. Hopefully, there's 3 guys there that are available for next season, in Trent Sisley and Ristic and Josh Harris.
Right.
And well, then they've got the other big. I don't know what his situation even is, but so you've got that. So to bring in, you've also got these 3 terrific freshmen that are coming in.
Yes.
So you've got something that you built on. Now you fill in the pieces with the players that you actually need, not the ones you think you need. I think that it was a a big learning experience for Darren DeVries last year, and having Ryan Carr is going to be a big help to that staff as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on Ryan. I've gotten to know Ryan very well over the years during his time with the Pacers, and I think he'll be a big help. They clearly have to go get some front court help. They're just too small and weak in the front court all year long. They need a point guard. I mean, hell, they need just about everything. So you're right. They've got to go hard and heavy in the portal and come out with some big time pieces.
And no question about it. And I think that Indiana, Scott Dolson recently named Athletics Director of the Year by the Athletics Directors of America, and congratulations to him for that. But I guarantee you, even though they're coming off of a 16-0 national championship in football, there is a mountain of weight on his shoulders about basketball, maybe even more so now that football is succeeding.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I understand fans look at this and say, Signetti did it in 1 year. Why can't DeVries? But DeVries, I mean, he started a little late. The open tampering starts much earlier than he arrived at Indiana. He started the race, many miles behind the leaders. So he was just putting together a roster as quickly as he could, make it, somewhat competitive, which I think he did. I mean, it still amazes me on bracketology that Indiana comes under the heading of first four out. How bad do you have to be? How soft was the bubble this year? My God.
And it got stronger, amazingly. I think they ended up in the next four
Did
out.
they end up next four? Okay.
From what I saw, yeah, it tightened up toward the end. There, but yeah, that's my whole point. I go, we don't need more freaking teams in this thing, and we don't need it in IT, to be honest with you.
No,
the crown's okay because it's 8 teams. So it's like a cup of coffee.
What do you say to the argument that Nebraska went to the Crown last year and won it? Is there any argument to be made that IU could somehow competitively find this competitively advantageous or not?
I'd have to find out how many of those guys that played for Nebraska last year played on this current team, but because I know how many that were on this team will be on next year's team for Indiana.
Right.
There's no, like I said, they don't even have a team, but I cannot imagine playing those extra couple of games. You've played 30 something games. If you don't have it by now, it ain't coming, man.
Yeah.
In my agree. But you could also say that Fred Hoiberg was there for 1,000 years before this finally happened as well.
True. Okay. I'll accept
What's up
that.
next for you, buddy?
Well, I'm going to sit on my couch all day Thursday and write about my experience of watching all the games on Thursday. We got Purdue on Friday, so I'm just going to hang out with the NCAA and write about that.
That sounds like a great bourbon and cigar day.
Well, yeah, cigars. No bourbon. I got it right.
There you go.
I'll drink it after I'm done writing.
Yeah, you can be like the writer on Misery.
I've never seen it. Oh, Misery, the Kathy Bates movie?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I have seen
James Caan, after he finished writing, I think he'd have a cigarette and
a drink. Yeah,
drink,
that sounds like me.
Bob Kravitz, don't forget, go to the ESPN Fantasy tab. The group is Indiana Sports Beat Fans. The password is Indiana. Let's see what we can get done. Appreciate you, my friend.
All right, buddy. Take care.
You as well. There he goes. Make sure you're looking up his content at the. He's on Substack, of course. I read him all the time, and I enjoy it. So we've got more coming up. Back with it right after we take this pause for the cause. Don't forget, if you want to fill out your bracket, go to our Bracket Palooza under the ESPN Fantasy tab. The group is Indiana Sports Beat Fans. It's the same as last year, actually. Password is Indiana. Several of you already in there. Winner's going to get some merch, baby. We'll give some merch away. And for our listeners in and around the B-Town area looking for something to do with the kids or something for the kids to do while you relax and watch some hoops, Dave and Buster's in Bloomington has got you covered. Games galore for all ages, wall-to-wall TVs, full bar, delicious new menu. Plan your next birthday party, work meeting, or get together at Dave & Buster's in Bloomington. They have private rooms. Be sure to tell them you heard it on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Get entered into more for more ISB merch. 751 South College Mall Road. Back with more right after you take this pause for the cause.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games Sunday through Thursday, plus a new menu and next-level upgrades like private game suites and the high-flying human crane. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington on South College Mall Road.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
You're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area? You need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave & Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch your teams on the big screen and level it all up with the high-flying human crane. Private game suites and more, only at 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Wednesday. Made it halfway, and it's downhill from here. And the NCAA tournament gets underway in full force tomorrow night, but started last night with the 2 of the play-in games. 2 more coming this evening, as 2 more teams will punch their ticket from Dayton, as they will earn their way in. Let's see. Who did I say played tonight? Dadgummit it. I already forgot. Dadgummit. Yeah, leave that bracket so I can get over to the schedule. All right. Man, they've got it. There's a ton of games because there's so much going on. But just for the NCAA tournament, Prairie View A&M taking on Lehigh, that matchup you've been waiting for all season of 16 seeds. Then Miami of Ohio taking on SMU. There's one that Bruce Pearl is going to be anxiously watching, hoping that SMU can knock Miami off so he can sit there and scream about how Auburn got screwed, which is a joke. Auburn was so far down the stinking list. They weren't even in the first 4 out. The fact that they have that joker with all of that, I'm like, wow, you sure lose a lot of respect from me when you have people like that on. And then you allow them to spew that BS. Whatever. Glass App asking, when are they announcing the Hubers event now that Indiana's not playing in the postseason? Shouldn't they go ahead and announce that? Well, they are, it's not, this is not IU basketball that handles that. It's, but I'll tell you exactly when it's going to be. I can almost look at a calendar and tell you and almost guess exactly at the date. And remember this date when I'm going to predict that it is going to be Wednesday, May 27th. That's a guess. That's a total guess. Usually falls at the end of May, usually on a Wednesday. So, not official. It's not been announced. But I wouldn't be afraid to say I'm not too far off. Hey, don't forget to go to our Bracket Palooza. Winner gets some merch, baby. Let's have some fun with this thing. Go to the ESPN Fantasy tab. Just, go to ESPN on your web browser. It's harder to do it on the phone, I will tell you that. But to the far right is usually, you'll see fantasy, and you just click on that tab and you'll see the men's tournament challenge. Look for join a group. That, as you can see, is Indiana Sports Beat fans. The password is simply Indiana. Let's see who can get her done. I'm going to be interested. I am going to fill out a second bracket, just to, just some curiosities of other ones, but I know which one my first one is. How many players, Michael asking, will IU have signed after the first week of the portal concludes? Man, that's no idea. I'm not Kreskin here. I do not know. There's a lot that goes into that stuff. Talking to, finalizing, signing, a lot of different things that go on there. They could, be deep into it before players actually signed. It could be a pretty much done deal before it's actually signed. A lot of times the information is leaked by, I don't know, IU, when they want certain information out ahead of time. So I cannot answer that question for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm not someone that can make predictions. But number two, do you know that the players needed are going to be available immediately? I would imagine that there are back channeling. There's back channeling going on now, possibly with potential players that may be on teams that are out of the tournament already. Didn't make it. There may be a couple of guys, and don't say that, well, we don't want somebody from a team that didn't make it. It's not relevant. Appreciate each and every one of you. Go out and have yourselves a great day. We're back tomorrow to do it again. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.